And so the government, 2.5 years ago, came with an initiative and said we want 30% of this business to be available to women, persons with disabilities, and the youth. I think the first year we achieved about 30% of businesses went to this category of groups, which was fantastic. The second year, I think about between 10 and 20%. And last year we didn't do so well. But I think what has happened in the last few months, or rather most recently, is that we have moved from intention to legislation. The government in December 2015 actually passed an act of parliament, which is called the Public Procurement Act, that now makes it law that every public institution must reserve 30% of their procurement to this category of to these groups of women. I would also want to say that apart from legislating this, as my colleague said, we recently launched a task force to start off the Commonwealth Business Center for procurement across the Commonwealth. We actually hope that this center will help us address some of the challenges we have faced in trying to enforce and implement this wonderful initiative that benefits women and the youth. But going to some of the challenges that we have faced and some of the things we have seen, it's a great initiative. Women have benefited, lives have been changed, but challenges are still there. And some of the challenges we are facing are monitoring and evaluation. When we go and visit people in the cities, they tell us we have benefited from the access to government procurement opportunity. When we move further afield, that is not the case. It seems like the grassroots woman has been excluded completely from this initiative. And it's a problem for us, and we're trying to look around how can we ensure that the grassroots woman, whose actually the intention of the president was to reach the grassroots woman, not the woman who's already in business and government. We want her to benefit as well, but also is to also reach the woman at the grassroots. Mindset shifts. We have found women do not believe they can do business in government. They don't believe it's possible. So it's how do we convince women that it's possible to actually go to a government ministry and win a government seat? That has been a huge problem for us. Thirdly, capacity and capability building for all actors in this space. Be it the women, how our departments are structured is such that procurement falls under finance and supply chain managers, who happen to be predominantly men. They don't see what the big issue is about this topic, and so they don't find it important to actually enforce or actually comply. So again, how do we bring them along so that they make it their responsibility to be able to pass on this knowledge to women, and this opportunity to more women. The other challenges we are facing is operationalizing this act. We have passed the act, it's now law, but then how do we bring this down to almost 3,000 government officers spread across the entire country so that they are able to abide by the law? And there are some things we have done given the challenges that we have faced. And one thing we did come this January is relook at the entire procurement program and redesign it so that we place accountability where it hurts the most. So some of the things we've done is ensure that every state department is managed by a principal secretary. And so we have laid down the performance contract of the PSs to actually include and to ensure the state department meets the 30% requirement for that state department. The other thing we have done is we will soon begin a name and shame list in the country to try and name and shame the ministries that are not complying, and we will publish and make this information public so you know which minister or state departments are performing. Thirdly, we have now moved this initiative to the National Treasury because they have the power to punish by withholding funds from ministries and state departments that are not complying. That's more painful. I mean, the Ministry of Public Service and Gender can talk and talk and talk. We have no big stick like the Ministry of the National Treasury that can actually stop your vote if you're not complying with this law. And lastly, we are now in the process of forming a secretariat to manage this entire program. I would say that we hope the new things we are putting in place will help us get where we want to go. The journey is still long, and I'm hoping that with the institution like the Commonwealth Business Center will help us unbundle the program and package it and help more women and people with disabilities and the youth who are actually more women as well. Most of the youth in my country are mostly women, to actually access these funds and benefit from this activity. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.